Good evening. Welcome to Our News Flash Info, an informative news program of the Collectivité. My name is Keisha Brooks. The big discussion for the past few months now have been the new lease and renovation of the Orient Bay huts. Past tenants have been complaining of the high price of the new imposed rents and other issues. We spoke to Vice President Guillaume Arnell to elaborate on the issue at hand.
For the listening audience, I want to seize this opportunity to clarify a couple of erroneous information. First of all, Orient Beach belongs to each and every St. Martino and French citizen. The beach is public. It is the property of the collectivity, and therefore it's not more mine than yours. And therefore, if there is any activities that is held on those premises, then equally everybody should benefit from them, which means there is a price to pay for utilizing public facilities. I want to recall that in the 70s or 80s, maybe 80s around there, Mayor Fleming has given an authorization to Orient Beach for Lufman, and the other half of the Orient Beach, he has provided structures that St. Martin people, and I'm specifying St. Martin people, because everyone has been given at that moment to St. Martin people. And what we did, let us be fair with ourselves, we find it fit either to sublease them and not operate them personally, or even to get what they call at that moment were key money. Key money, 50, 60, 80, $100,000. So today the consequences of what is happening on Orient Beach and the fact that there are not much St. Martiners that are on the beach is the consequences of the irresponsible decision that we as St. Martin people has took at that moment. So we can only blame ourselves. Foreigners, metropolitans, and Brazilians, and whoever are at Orient Beach today, is we who have allowed them to be there, okay? The next thing is that if you realize what has happened to Orient Beach, first of all, is one of the most attended area on the French side where tourists is concerned. And of course, the environment is tremendous, it's enjoyable, and I believe, and there is where the collectivity also has believed, that what has been perpetrated at the on the Orient Beach in terms of quality of construction, where everyone would, in his own way, would construct, were not acceptable. We were looking to find the moment to make a great operation, and that moment has been given us by natural catastrophe, Gonzalo. And when we saw what happened at Gonzalo, we said that, hey, this should be the moment to do something, and that is what triggered the reconstruction of Orient Bay. And it has not been done unilaterally. It has been done with the acceptance of the tenants. First of all, we made several agreements. They have accepted that they would lose the off-season in order to have a better high season. They have accepted also the fact that we should provide no more that type of practices of people renting their facilities, but the person granted to the person who's effectively operating the facility. That's what we did. And the third point was, of course, we would have the obligation to guarantee them that the structure would be ready for the opening of the new season. You know how it is in St. Martin, and it is not an excuse, because I've always said that in St. Martin we should learn to respect time frame, we should learn to respect financial plans, and what has been previewed in terms of finances for 2.5 million have exceeded to 3.3 million, okay? That has nothing to do with the tenants. That is government's responsibility to pay that additional 800,000 euros where we have to find it. Therefore, what is happening today is that some people, within all what has been said, everyone has been able to be beneficial to what was the situation before. I'm explaining myself. Everyone that was operating before has gotten a new contract. They said that the contract of 3 years is not enough. They would like to have 5 years. But I want to remind you that what we call an AOT, Autorisation d'Occupation Temporaire, is a temporary occupation. And therefore, it should not exceed more than 3 or 5 years. We have decided that it will be for 3 years in order to stop people from the erroneous idea that it can become their property. The second point is that, of course, we have been exceeding the time span. It had to be ready for November, then December, and so on. So what I did, in coordination with Vice President Wendell Cox, we have decided to give the people there a grace period also of the 2 months, where that was possible. Now, they are criticizing the construction. It is not a restaurant, a 3 or 5 star restaurant. It is a beach bar and restaurant, whereby the obligations are not the same if you have a restaurant where you're going to have people sitting on cushions and whatnot. So you need to understand that. Another thing is that all the norms of the French system has been respected, whether it be in hygiene, whether it be in building codes, it has been respected. Who are the persons who are occupying today? What competencies do they have to tell us that it is not good, it is not within the norms, and so on, since when it has been built by and verified by those who have that habilitation. The key factor today is that 3 persons, 3 restaurant owners, are contesting the prices. I want to be reluctant, simply because they want to believe that they are from St. Martin and they have the possibility to contest the prices or to pay out different prices. No, we are saying simply that you have a new structure, you have a clean structure, you have something that has cost the collectivity a certain amount of money. We have accepted to drop our prices from 2,500 euros to 2,200 euros. And we believe that if you are not able to pay 2,200 euros for some place that are booming, then why should you be so interested in keeping it if you are not making money? If you are losing money, then it doesn't make sense that you keep the premises. But I want everyone to know also that there are so many others that are wanting those premises. So therefore, you should be able to understand the importance or the chance that you have to be one of the beneficiaries. So I'm saying today, let us get back to reasons. Government property cannot be given freely, and also some of us need to be frank and sincere with the information that we are giving. Because when we are calling the people to join in this blockage and whatnot, we need to give also the people the right information. 2 examples I'm going to give. When I went up and I said to one of the water sport facilities, 600 euros for the month, I can't pay it. I said, but you need to show me why. No one has papers showing their accountant and so on. It's your word against my word. And I simply said to this water sport, then tell me how much you rent a jet ski for. And he told me 50 euros, half an hour. So I said, well then if you rent 2 jet skis per day, you make 100. By 6 days, you pay me my rent, and then you have 24 days for yourself. It's okay? So I think that is a fair. Now with the restaurants, I want to mention also that how is it possible that some restaurants can afford to pay the 2,500, sign for it, while we told them that when we revise the prices, they also going to benefit from the new pricing. And that's what's happening. Today, everyone at Orient Bay could have their restaurant for 2,200 euros. What they are saying is that it's too expensive, watch Rancars and watch Marigot, and so you cannot compare situations. You cannot compare situations. First of all, Orient Bay is one of the top places in the French, on French side. And Rancars, of course, is another one. But I'm saying today that Rancars' turn is going to come because there has been also rents in Rancars that we believe are abnormally too low, and that would have to be readjusted. But you can't tackle all the battles at the same time, okay? Now, what those that are reluctant, and I'm not saying that the 3 of them are subject to the same analysis that I'm going to make. But at least one, the one who's the most vocal. How is it possible that you could have been renting your facilities for X amount, which means the person who were renting from you had to give you your X amount, had to pay himself, pay his workers, pay his other bills, his goods and whatnot. And today you are saying that I can't do it? Something is wrong. And we are saying the time to put an end to profiting of government property has arrived. We are willing and we are understanding that we do not want no social unrest, but the people need to know that some of our people has been misusing the system for a long time, and there is time now that they give back a little bit of what they have received and that was belonged to each and every one of us. Then I say it also, on behalf of some of them, that government doesn't have the obligation to give one individual several opportunities. There are some individuals that have several government opportunities. Let us be fair with ourselves and say simply that on this island, I'm happy to be able to live good, better than others, and there are probably some opportunities that I should leave based on the situation that we are experiencing. And let us try to build this country together and not be only thinking about breaking it down, destroying. All we are trying to do, and I'm going to give the example on that side. No one discussed the prices of the boardwalk. Government set the prices, you pay or else you get out. On the front side, we are in another type of process, and I think that maybe sometime we need to step up to another level and show that government is there to understand the people, because we captured our legitimacy from the people. But we also have the obligation to give the people all the information that they can judge a situation and take part in their full conscience. And we believe that in this particular case, there has been misleading the people. So therefore, I'm asking the people not to take part in what we believe is a private conflict. Who are you to get involved in a private conflict? The conflict, if there is a conflict, is between the collectivity and a personal individual. This is not like when you are building a school or when you are building roads that are going to serve everyone. This is something that is between you and me. It's just as if I put down a building permit. The building permit has been refused because of a certain amount of technicalities, and tomorrow you want to force government to give the building permit while you know that you doesn't have anything to do with it. So what I'm saying simply, let us put ourselves on another level. Stop destroying, stop blaming government for what they have not done, stop blaming government for favoring foreigners, stop blaming government for trying to make monies on St. Martin people's head, and let St. Martin people understand that they also have a role to play in the construction of this new community. And when we understand what we all have to do together, instead of throwing down and destroying each other, I think everyone else would then respect us.
March 6 through 13 marks the celebration of Disability Awareness Week. This year's theme is Let's Keep Disability Awareness on Course. The entire week is marked with debates, activities, and outings for the public to take part. The week is open with a Sunday walk starting from the Sports Hall in Gallows Bay. Monday is the official opening of the week at the library in Concordia, where artwork by young disabled persons will be displayed. The Handicap Center Service of Special Education and Home Care, SESSAD, will be hosting public discussions and talks in the schools throughout the week. On Wednesday, they will host an open house at their office in Marigot. And on Thursday, there will be a debate in the evening at the library with the topic of discussion being, what professional future is there for disabled persons? Friday, there will be a Paralympics at Le Gallion Beach starting at 8:30 a.m. There will be a wheelchair parade in Marigot on Saturday morning starting at 9:30 a.m. And the closing of the Disability Awareness Week will be marked with a boat trip. On Saturday, President Arlene Hansen and Senator Guillaume Mornell received the Ambassador of India of France, His Excellency Dr. Mohan Kumar, for his first visit to St. Martin. The ambassador was accompanied by the Minister of Consular Affairs at the embassy, Mr. Subhad Kumar Jaswal, as well as 3 members of the Indian Association of St. Martin, AISM, represented by the President, Mr. Pradeep Peter Sadarangani. This fruitful exchange between the executive and territorial representation of the Indian government was to develop cooperation in the fields of economic, culture, and education. President Hansen presented the book Doing Business in St. Martin, a simple guide created by the collectivity for investors, informing them of the favorable tax potential of the territory. In order to develop economic ties between India and St. Martin, the ambassador said he was ready to consider the tax potential, stating that it was precisely the aim of the new Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, who wants his country to shine all over the world. Promoting the Indian culture is also at the heart of the trip of the ambassador. He presented to the president a project of the Indian Association, who would like to build a culture center on the French side with support of the collectivity, a project that will benefit the entire population of St. Martin. He also made proposals to the president for future cooperation projects.
As India's ambassador in Paris, I'm absolutely delighted to make the first ever visit from the embassy to St. Martin. I think it's been a voyage of discovery for me, and I had a very intense and fruitful discussion with the president of the collectivity here. We had a long chat about 2 things. One, prospects for further economic cooperation between St. Martin and India, as well as reinforcing the cultural links between St. Martin and India. We have discussed some concrete ideas. We will have a meeting this evening in which we are going to talk of potential for Indian investment into St. Martin, but also investment from St. Martin to India. And we talked about reinforcing the cultural links by trying to see if we can establish a cultural center in St. Martin. We are also trying to see if we can celebrate an International Day of Yoga on 21st June this year. But equally, we are also trying to see if young boys and girls, men and women from St. Martin can go to India on go and study there, but also be part of the Volontariat International, the Entreprise program that we have for French students to go on internship with Indian and French companies in India. So all in all, it was a very, very fruitful day's discussion that I had with the president of the collectivity. I am absolutely impressed by what I've seen in St. Martin so far, and I'm really happy to be here.
The City Contract Steering Committee of 2015 to 2020 met Monday to set the 27 actions that will be implemented this year for the neighborhoods of Sandy Ground and French Quarter, but also to specify the calls for projects to be launched.
Contrat de Ville was signed, you remember, in the month of December, right here in the collectivity. This morning was kept the first committee meeting for all the different actions. And so you remember that 141 actions were put in place by the different people that are partnership, the CAF, the SIG, the Social Security, and it is for us to start the 27 actions that we will make happen in 2016. The first main action is to make sure that children at the age of 2 years be able to follow school. It is also to have more teachers in the school than classes. This is an important measure to help the children that are in difficulties. It is also for the CLSPD, the security and so be assumed. We see that in St. Martin there is a lot of violence and we have to contain this violence. We have to help the parents to be able to follow up their kids because the parents have obligation. Of course, schools, they give a know how to do and whatnot, but it's at home that it begins, and it's at homes that the parents have to be involved in following up the schooling of their kids by going to meeting and whatnot. We are going to help those parents. And so also the CAF has dispositions that they put in place to help the children do sports and have cultural activities, those cases, okay, we do not know about them, but the CAF will be able to come and what we call the Conseil de Quartier at the beginning, that will become the house and thing where the citizens of St. Martin can go before coming down to the collectivity to have all the necessary knowledge that they should have for different papers, because when you have to go in the prefecture, it is not easy. When you have to come to the collectivité, the forms that they should be filled out before coming here. We have actions mostly around economy, because, you know, the collectivité and the states, they give a lot of subvention to these associations, but the association should be able to employ young persons, and the association should be able to give and learn people, okay, how to do and give jobs and so. We are going to occupy with the fishery system, mostly in French Quarter, and we are going to deal with certain jobs that will be given to the youngsters right away. We know that a lot of people in St. Martin would like to have, like, say, like a young person around them. That's what we call the service à la personne, let's say like the minor kid, or if to keep an elderly company and so. Those are things that are not developed in St. Martin, and I think it's about time that they get developed for the well-being of St. Martiners and the employment of our youth. And also, there will be on the side of the state, how if you have a project to bring, okay, the way in which you're supposed to bring your project, and there would be help by Initiative St. Martin, and help by also a special association that will be created and have the know-how to do, so that this association can help the other persons that have the project or other associations to be updated with their documents that they're supposed to do yearly. You know, sometimes an association, the persons in an association, they want to help the community, they want to do things for the community, but it takes a great amount of time to be able to follow up the, let's say, the financial aspect, all the paperwork that has to be done for the association. So we are going to follow them up to be able to come up to the expectation of the collectivity and also the expectation of the state.
For your information, to alleviate the traffic in the center of the town, the collectivity has reopened the junction connecting Rue d'Orléans with Rue Kennedy. This wraps it up for today's edition of Flash Info. My name is Keisha Brooks. On behalf of the collectivity of St. Martin, thank you for joining us. Hope to see you next time. Have a good evening.